Welcome back to another episode of 365 Unlimited. We are back with another interview. This time we got Hakim Williams Jr. in the building, sitting down, chopping it up with us to tell his story, football related, his journey of life, his faith. We're going to sit down and chop it up with him and learn about him and inspire the youth together. But before we do all that, continue to like, view, and subscribe to all of our content. We appreciate the continuous feedback and just everyone being in tune with us and allowing us to help grow and help our community out. It means a lot to us if you guys stay in tune with us. So keep tapping in for us. Also, check out our three sponsors: Driftless Quality Wear, Bocker Auto Group, and Not Vintage. That is KNOT Vintage. Gannon, it speaks for itself. Joe has been up in his game with Not Vintage.
hmm
It's going crazy with the graphic tees. I'm representing the 365 Unlimited graphic tee tonight. I'm telling you, if you want a graphic tee, go over to Not Vintage on socials. Use the code 365U and you'll get 10% off at the checkout. That is store wide. 365U, 10% off. All right, Gannon, let's go.
Yeah. Kind of first question we asked everybody, Keem, is kind of who you are. Let everybody know a little rundown before we get into some details and some specific questions. But who are you, kind of on and off the field?
So on and off the field, um, man of God, child of God, just a strong leader. Just try and set the example for a lot of people. On the field, just a crazy ball player. Very humble. I just go out there and play, man. I don't do all that talking. I just let my skills speak. But like I said, off the field, I'm just a child of God, just trying um let a path or clear path for the ones behind me or that look up to me.
I like it. I like to hear it, and it's awesome to talk about when we start diving in and learning these stories, and we hear about each other's faith, and we can understand how the blessings above help us reach where we want to go in life, find the correct path. Growing up, did you always play sports? What sports were you involved in? And how do you feel like individual sports fed off of one another and kind of shaped you into a well-rounded athlete? And if it was just one sport, how was the training for that sport created you to be the player you are today?
So I would say I started playing sports in middle school. So I actually played football. Before I played tackle, I was playing flag football. My mom wasn't trying to have me play tackle. Um, I played basketball too, and then I ran track. And just in our household, we always had like three sport athletes, and I wanted to be similar to my older siblings, who were either playing football, running track, playing basketball and stuff like that. So I followed their path. Um, and then I would say for the training aspect, I honestly didn't start taking it seriously until my junior year of high school because I was going through like I would say they always say that if you're not going hard on varsity, I might be sorry,
No, you all good.
my dog is going crazy right now. Um, but I didn't start taking it seriously until my junior year of high school because it took one varsity play where my first varsity reception, I got popped. I got high low, fumbled the ball, and people were just making fun of me. And like I was like, I don't want to be that guy that people make fun of. Like, oh, he like fumbled the ball, this, and this. I didn't want to be remembered as that. And so like that was something that like clicked on me to where I started training and started taking it more seriously. But all in all, like truthfully, where I started taking it more seriously was during COVID because I feel that was like a make it or break it moment. I was going into my senior year for college, and it was just a lot of chaos going on in my whole aspirations to get to the league, get to the NFL. And I feel that point where everybody was trying to see if like, is this like really for me or am I just like gonna give it up? And like I just kept going and I just took the training more seriously and it's been serious ever since.
You kind of talked about your junior year and then also the COVID year kind of being very big in your weight training and just talk about that focus. You just said the last couple of days you've been hitting it hard. Just the evolution of that and just kind of maybe that carrying over into other aspects of your life, kind of the discipline and all that.
I would say like the last few days, and then also during COVID, like where I started taking it seriously, I was just like, okay, nobody's gonna like force me to get up to like go lift. Nobody's gonna force me to go hit the field, do the extra training. So I actually had to do that myself because you want to go pro, okay, you have to take these next steps because nobody's gonna do it for you. And then even right now, I would say I'm in a little rough spot, or not a rough spot, but just like a waiting season to where like I'm waiting on my next opportunity. And like there are times where like I'm in bed early in the morning and I'm just like, man, I don't want to go lift. I don't want to go lift. Like, let me take a rest day. And there are times like truthfully, and I'm just like, I'm in no position where I should be resting right now. Like I'm not where I want to be, so I gotta get up and get after it. And these last few days, this has been hard. It's been training, lifting. Today was like our first day hitting the field again because it's been raining out here, been snowing out in California for the first time in like I don't know how long. So
I seen that.
so we were just knocking the rust off today, but it actually felt pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, and just got to knock some of the rust off again. But lifting wise, everything's been smooth, and so like I just been pushing myself constantly, day in and day out, to be the best because I know if I want to be the best, I gotta go the extra mile because nobody's gonna do it for me.
100%. I mean, that's a key point right there at the end. No one's going to do it for you. And that's something we've harped on, even if we do a business interview, sports interview, no matter what it is. No one is going to work for your dreams but yourself. If you want to get up and chase something, it's got to be done by you and only you. Of course, you can have the support system, which I'm sure you do, but it's up to you to wake up in them early mornings when you're laying there and not knowing if you want to get out of bed. Because I know Gannon and I've been there. We've all been there. We wake up and it's like, oh man, another day, man. It's tough sometimes. But I happened to be reading over one of your interviews you did with the Gridiron Crew, and it talked about what would your coaches and teammates say about you as a player. And one word that stuck out to me was selfless. You're a player that's selfless and allows your teammates to make plays when it's their time. When it's their time to make their plays, it's when it's your time to make your plays, you step up and make your plays. So how did you become that teammate? How did you become that type of guy that NFL coaches are going to want to coach over time? Because it takes a lot to grow into that player.
Honestly, I would say it started in high school during track season my freshman year because I've always been competitive. I don't like losing. I know you guys don't like losing. So I just always been that guy. And it was one time I had like my mom talk to me because I lost the race and my other teammate that beat me, he felt all bad because like he was like, I don't want to celebrate around Hakeem, this, and this. And she was like, no, you gotta like check yourself, like your time's gonna come. And then it kind of bled into football too, because I remember something one of my coaches said in high school. He was like, if you want the ball, you got to block. And so it kind of started there within the blocking game, where I was like, okay, if I want the ball, I got to actually put my body on the line for the next man. And it's been like that since my junior year, I would say. And then just even carried on into college, carried on into my first year professional. And I don't know if you guys seen like I have my my rookie year highlights on my Instagram, and there were some plays where I got blown up by a lineman, but it was like I put my body on the line for a running back because I told my running back every time you run behind me, you're gonna score. And he was like, all right, bet. One play, I just get blasted by like some 400, 300 pound D lineman, and like I see
Lit up.
my running I see my running back running to the end zone. I'm just like, you know, I know my body's gonna hurt in the morning, but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
And that's just been my mindset ever since because I know at the end of the day, when my opportunity comes, I'm gonna run with it. But I gotta clap for the next man that's right beside me. And as he's getting his praise and his applaud and stuff like that, I gotta be there to support him. Cause I'm always put my team first. And I always been like that even in college, because there are times where I had to play both sides of the ball because we were short on numbers or we didn't have enough DBs. And I told my coach jokingly my sophomore year, I was like, um, I'll play some DB. I'll play some DB. Let me play both sides of the ball. And then when it got two, when we were low in numbers, he was like, "Hey, we're gonna need you guys to play some DB." And so I was like, "Okay, I'm down for it." And then even on special teams, I've always been that player. Like I don't want to leave the field because I want to be able to put my team in the best position to win.
Kind of, you talked about some adversity even in high school with track all the way to now, some days you might not want to get up, but just kind of talk to everybody, maybe the youth, other athletes professionally, they're trying to seek their dreams out. Just anybody really that's listening to this podcast. What is some advice that you would have? Because you sound like you bounced back from the adversity, or you kind of love the adversity. You kind of love being immersed in that just because it's a challenge. And I can see that already just kind of talking to you a little bit. Just to some other people that are struggling with that or just don't always see that eye to eye, because I know it's tough. It's life. Those things come every single day in certain, amounts, however you see it through your eyes. But what is some key things that you think that helps you with it?
So some key things that help me with like dealing with that adversity, because like I said, my faith is a big thing. Me being a child of God, like I always know that there's gonna be battles every single day. Um, but it's like how you adapt to them and how you adjust to them. Because one thing you got to be able to control the controllables. And I feel with a lot of athletes nowadays, a lot of football players, just athletes in general, when things don't go our way, we throw like a little hissy fit, we get frustrated, um, and like we get angry. And I remember um, there was one football player. He's like a motivational speaker now. I think it's Inky Johnson. He was talking about just one thing you can control is your attitude to any given situation. And so that's been my mindset with everything. Like when things don't go my way, like how am I going to react to it? And when those things don't go my way, like I just think back to what even my coach says. Like there's going to be times where we deal with adversity, but we just got to overcome it. And that's just my mindset with everything. Is just control your attitude. Things won't go your way all the time, but just control what you can and just control your attitude to those situations.
For sure. We're definitely all gonna face hardships in our life, and finding a way to overcome them is the only way. I mean, it's the only way, and it's the way that allows us to set ourselves up for success later on. So speaking of hardships, I'm sure one of the hardships you had to face in high school was making that decision of where am I gonna play college ball. Uh, and obviously now the years have passed, and pro ball and everything going on in your life, training for the next step. Speak on it for the youth. We do this a lot with guys and girls who play college sports. We want to know what that recruiting process was like. So younger kids right now that are sitting at home and they're scared as seniors, like, how am I going to make this decision? It seems impossible. What was your situation like in the recruiting process, and what advice would you give to kids that are going through it right now?
Um, some advice I could give to some of the youth. Um, for me, my recruiting process, it was a game. I would say like towards my junior year when I was in track season, going and back into football, I had coaches from D1, some D1 double A's come to talk to me. And like a little kid from Covina wasn't expecting this type of like attention because normally we wouldn't have coaches run through our area like that. Like normally, or they would go through the area, but they would go to like your Charter Oaks, your North U's, which is like the much bigger schools in our area, like just talent wise. And so like they would just skip over my high school, which was Covina, and like then I started getting attention. I'm just like, okay, like I didn't know how to adjust to it. And then like I got some coaches showing interest. Like I said, some D1, some D1 double A's, a D2, the D3 I went to, and then like some JUCOs. And I'll say with the whole recruiting process, it's like just be grateful for any opportunity that's given to you. I wasn't grateful for that, and like I got humbled, and like I said, things happen for a reason. Um, and that's like what led to my faith, like me being baptized and stuff like that. I got humbled because my mindset was D1 or D2. Like I'm not going D3, like NAIA, like come on. And like throughout my years of being in college, like I learned a lot about the game, learned a lot about like some of these NAIAs, D3s, D1s, D2s, and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I needed to be at the college I was at for a reason. It was honestly a big blessing going there too. Um, but just some advice I can give to the ones that are getting recruited their senior year, their junior year, again. looked at throughout high school is just whatever coach gives you attention and the coaches that are rocking with you, take notice of that. Don't shut them out because, oh, they're not your USCs, your Oregons, your UCLAs, your Bamas, whatever. Anything that comes your way is a blessing. And that's how you got to see it, because as easy as it could be placed in your life, it can get taken away. So enjoy your journey. Just embrace every obstacle, every coach that gives you that, like, their time, and actually, like, be thankful for it, because not there are a lot of people that want to be in that position of getting recruited. Some people that don't even get looks. So just humble yourself and just be thankful for whatever comes your way.
I
No, I
like
think
that.
it's a big point when the coaches show you love, because you don't always get that everywhere you go. But
Hmm.
was it always football kind of through the recruitment process through high school, or was it track? Was there anything else that was kind of in the mix, or when did you kind of figure out football was kind of your lane?
I would say where I figured that out, when I started getting recruited, my junior year, and I was running track, and I was like, towards the end of the season, since I did hurdles, I was running like high 14s. And so I'm like, okay, like I'm like, I want to play football though. Like I could care less about track. Like I want to play football. That's what I want to do. I want to play professional. But my work ethic wasn't there yet. And so where it like really clicked for me, I would say my senior year too. Like I just finished off my senior year of football, and like still nobody has offered me besides like my I'll say my little D3 school. Um but I wanted to go D2. Like there was another D2 that was like I was interested in, which was APU. That's out here. It was between APU and Whittier. So those are like the two schools that were showing me interest. And then at the start of my track season, my senior year, I ran like a 14.93, like out the gate, first meet. And like I think that next week I got like a letter from Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, which is the D1 AA. And my coach was like, "Yeah, see, this is what happens when you run 14s. Just keep it going. We're gonna do good in CIF. We're gonna do good and get a ring this season." And I was like, "That's what I'm feeling." I still wasn't humble. Still had that D1 or bust mentality, and I feel where I like really was like, okay, I'm just gonna play football. I pulled my hamstring. I would say like our first league meet of my senior year. And that was like where I'm just like, okay, like let me just get healthy, get right, so I could go into college and just go out there. But I was mainly getting recruited for football, a little bit for track, but football mainly.
Got you. Before we continue with the college and your first pro season discussion, I want to ask you. I've been thinking about this question for the last couple minutes, and I just got to ask you. So right now, within the NFL, if there was a team out there that was interested in you, obviously, I know you're going to say that you're willing to take on any and every opportunity, as all of us would. But
Yeah,
if there's an NFL team out there right now, what team do you feel like you fit the best, and what your skill set? How would it fit with that team? Who's the best team out there for Hakeem Williams?
you know it's crazy, and I know my godmom, she's gonna get mad at me for this, but actually no, actually no, I would actually say the Steelers. Like, let alone I'm a Steelers fan, but I just see them like with when it comes to drafting receivers and picking up receivers or players in general, they find like the little diamonds in the rough. And like that's something we see, like, for example, when AB was in his prime, like they found him, he went to Central Michigan. Like nobody, like they don't get receivers from Central Michigan. And like he was on a tear. I think it was like from 2015 to like maybe 2018 or 2019. Like he was on the tear for like a few years. And like they're just good at like drafting and finding those like key players that people miss out on. And like Tomlin, I like him as a coach too. So I believe the Steelers would be a good fit for me.
I like it. I like it.
Kind of growing up with the different athletes and the different type of people growing up. I know Bryce and I had our favorite superstars, superheroes, whatever you want to call them, that we thought were athletes back in the day. Kind of name some of the guys that you looked up to, or maybe modeled your game after, or just liked watching, or maybe even a favorite team.
So as funny as it like was growing up, one of my favorite players watching was LT. And now like LaDainian Tomlinson, I was like, okay, like I want to be a running back because of him. and then puberty happened. I'm like a skinny, tall kid, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play receiver. I'm not a running back. And then, but also like when I was younger too, like two receivers I would look up to, um, Steve Smith Sr. and then Randy Moss. And
Mm,
then I'll
really?
say currently right now, uh, I'll say Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, your Cooper Cup, and then your Cooper Cups too.
Route runners,
And
man.
then Justin Jefferson too. Like I've been a fan of Justin Jefferson, like when he was at LSU, but I didn't start liking him more until like I would say once he entered the league. After his like rookie season, I'm like, okay, like this kid's gonna be special. And then this past season, he balled out. And I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this I like him. I like him. He's a tough receiver.
No, it's actually crazy just the flip flop that's probably the one of the most even trades that ever took place was the Stephon Diggs to the Bills and the Vikings
Mhm.
getting that pick to take Justin Jefferson. One of the most even flips you could ever come up with. But let's talk about your pro. We talked a little bit about your college situation and the recruiting process. Talk about your first pro season. How did it go? What was the experience like? And where are things headed?
So as crazy as it was my first pro season, it was pretty interesting. Was in Wichita, Kansas. Never been outside of Cali my whole life, especially for like a long period of time. Um,
Oh,
when I
that's a
went
little
out there,
different. That's a little different than
oh,
California.
oh, oh, definitely, and that was something. It was just the weather too. I dealt with. We had tornadoes, had like heat, like crazy heat, crazy thunderstorms, wind, snow. I'm like not used to that. Like I'm so used to like California's bipolar weather where it's just raining like heat. Like I'm getting hit with everything. So that was like one thing. And then when I went out to Kansas for the first time, like just my mindset going in there, and I remember I was on the plane before I landed, and one of my friends, she told me she was like, um, "You need to spend time with God." That was like before I touched down in Kansas. I was like, "How am I gonna do that?" Like I'm just thinking about that, and I'm like listening. I'm watching this movie. I think it's King Richard, which is like about Venus and Serena Williams, their dad. And like something that stood out to me was just humble. Like this is before I got there. I'm still on the plane. I'm like about to land, and so my mindset was just be humble and just stay on your toes. Just be ready for anything that comes your way. Like I kid you not, as soon as I got there, I didn't know cuts were like a real thing. Like I signed a contract with them. I'm like, okay, I'm on the team. I'm on the roster. And then I find out they're like, oh, yeah, we got training camp. Some people getting cut, this, and this. And I'm like, wait, we getting cut? So like that's in the back of my head too. And I kid you not, like the first few days of training camp, I wasn't performing the best because we were outside and like the weather was crazy. And I'm like, okay, like let me just catch the ball, run the routes, do this correctly, do this correctly. And I was making so many mistakes. I'm like, man, I'm about to get cut. Like my first professional like team, I'm about to get cut. But like my agent, he would always tell me, he was like, no, you're good. Just go out there, perform the next day. And then I remember the last day of training camp, well, now we're indoors. And just the feeling that day was just totally different. Like everybody's locked in, the environment's all quiet. And I'm just like, okay, everybody mean business today. And I would say that day, like I went crazy because I'm like, I'm not about to get cut. I'm not about to be one of those guys. And luckily, I was blessed enough to be one of the go-to guys on our team. Um, just throughout the season, we dealt with like a lot of adversity. We missed out on a few games. Like I just showed up to practice, played, and like I really didn't ask no questions. I'm just like, I'm here to play ball, man. Like I'm not gonna complain this, and this because like what's complaining gonna do? So um, I just control what I could. Like I said, I had that mindset, and everything that came our way, I just adapted to it and just rolled with the punches. And then I would say towards the end of my season, we were blessed enough to be in the championship game with this team from Mississippi. And that game too, where like me being a selfless player like came into the picture, because I remember that week my coach was gonna pull me off of special teams, because I've been on special teams all season, go flying down there trying to make a play, and then I remember he was like, "No, I want all defense out there. I want all defense out there." And one of our star DBs was like, "No, you got it, you got it." And I was like, "Okay, bet." And I remember just my mindset with that, because I had a teammate that played on the team that we were playing against. He was like, "No, I want to get him back. I want to get him back." And so we had a rotation on offense. I'm like, "Bro, you got it. I'm not tripping on it. I just want to ring. I just want to win a championship. Never won a championship before in my life." So I'm making plays on special teams, flying down, getting safeties, making big hits and all that stuff. And I'm like, that's just my mindset. I just want to win. I could care less about trying to make a play on offense. Like, if the ball came my way, I'm gonna make a play on it. But I just wanted to win a championship. But I would say my first rookie season was just like a lot of adversity, a lot of adversity. Overcame a lot, and just made some new, I would say, some new friends, some new teammates, brothers. Um, and just as of right now, just the opportunity that I'm waiting on next is just I've been chopping it over with a few teams. Um, just trying to get my foot into that USFL, XFL, NFL, CFL door. It's a little hard. I'm not gonna lie, but it's just trusting the process and enjoying the journey and the late nights, the early mornings, just the process that comes with it. So I'm just staying ready, so I don't have to get ready.
Yes, sir.
There it
Stay
is.
ready. Yes, sir.
We talked about the first season dealing with the adversity, but also being, I think, blessed to be able to play for the championship. I don't know if you didn't sound like you necessarily wanted and pulled it out, but just being able to play in that championship game and go through that whole playoff run and all that. Kind of talk on that, because you said that was your first time playing for a championship in your career. That had to be something pretty special.
Yeah, no, it was very special, and it was just so I have a crazy story. Also dealing with my faith, me being a man of faith. I remember it was just we were preparing a week for a game, and I'm about to work out with my quarterback. And like 2 months prior to the championship, like I remember this date, I wrote it down. It was like May 9th. Um, I'm listening to like some worship, just getting my head right. And like this one song goes on, and it's like I get a quick little vision of just like us winning the championship, and it was like just like a little flash moment, and it just went away. And like this is before I like started working out with my quarterback. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like not really paying mind to it. And then I got like a little sermon or a little testimony that my friend told me to watch. And it was just saying write your visions down. So like that little vision came in my head. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna write it down. And then just me being a man of faith, me being a child of God, 2 months on the same exact day, that actually happened. And I was like, okay, like I see. I was like, I see how that is. And it was just like in high school, like we would always make it to quarterfinal. We couldn't get past that little second round hump. Like we would lose in the most tragic ways. Like my junior year, we lost on a 42-yard field goal. This kicker had a boot. And we were like, oh, he's gonna miss it. He barely made it. And then my senior year, we lost in OT. And then I mind you, I haven't touched the playoffs since my senior year, like college. My team, we had athletes, but we weren't the best. We had good coaches, but we weren't the best. And it's just I wouldn't say we weren't the best. It was just we got out coached sometimes and outplayed sometimes, and we would take ourselves out of games. Um, but I haven't had a winning season like in my whole career playing. And so like just being able to be in that position where I'm like, we started off undefeated, had like two little hiccups in the season. And I'm like, okay, like we're in playoffs, we're in the championship. And it was honestly a blessing because not too many people in their whole careers could experience a championship. And like me experiencing the championship in my rookie season and actually winning it too and being one of our guys.
That's awesome.
That was like something crazy to me because the whole season I started, I didn't get benched or I didn't like. Our coach was like, "Nah, like he's gonna go in this, and this." Like, "No, you're starting," and so that's like what it was the whole season. And so just being put in that position to where like I could start my first ever championship and I could win it too. That was a big blessing for me.
Facts. After all the hard work and I know Gannon and myself have been there too. I mean, working. I mean, we're all working for a championship when we're athletes. That's what we want. It's our goals to be as successful as we possibly can and reach that highest mountain. And when it happens, man, does it bring the most
It's
joy to
awesome.
you? Like it's all the late nights, like you said, all the early mornings. It all comes full circle. You remember those nights, those days, interactions between people, the workouts. You remember it all, and it all hits you, and it's just tears of joy, man. And I'm glad that you're able to enjoy that and understand what it's done for you, how it's gotten you to where you are today. But I don't really think I have many questions left. I think one thing I want to do, Gannon, if you have anything left, feel free. But I want to kind of just open the floor up to you. And if you have anything else you want to say, if it's a couple shout outs, you want to mention anything else, like the floor is yours, man. Like let loose and be selfish. Talk about your game. Talk about who you are. Whatever you want to do, go ahead.
Okay. First and foremost, just give praise to the Most High just for bringing us together, just being blessed with this opportunity. Because, like I said, not too many people get this opportunity, and it's just a big blessing to me. And then just give shout outs to my family, my loved ones, the ones that have been supporting me along the way, and that will continue to support me. And then the ones, as funny as it is, on my TikTok, because I'm big on there too. Just those little people that support me too, like it goes a long way. And like those times, like I said, where I don't want to work out or don't want to do this.
Mm.
And I remember something one of my pastors told me, they're like, you got influence. People are always gonna look up to you whether you see it or not. And then even my trainer said that too. And I was just like, okay, I got people that look up to me. Those times where I don't want to work out, those times where I don't want to do this. I know I could help somebody if I go and do this or if I go and do that. So just the support from them is just a big thing too. Shout out to my trainers, Coach Reg, Coach Shane, and then also a few of my videographer guys too that have been helping me just push content out too. Andy, um, and then also just like speaking on my game, man. I'm just blessed to be able to play this game because I know not too many people can play it, so I don't take it for granted. Play every play like it's my last, and just go all out every time I'm training, where I'm lifting, or like even in games. Because I say you don't know when it's your last, so you just got to make everything count. You got to empty the tank every time you're out there, and that goes out to anybody. Empty the tank while you're out there, man. Like just go out there, have fun. That's a big thing too. Have fun. Don't treat it too much like a job. Once you're doing that, you're not having fun anymore. You might as well just give it up. So have fun while you're doing it, and love everybody, man. Just kill people with kindness, man. That's all. That's all.
Man, that's awesome. I'll just give my last little thoughts there because I mean that's better than probably any outro or clip that we've had in a long time. Just add a little short summary, but it's your outlook, man. It's been it's contagious. I can feel it in this 30 minutes. Just chop up here with your workout, your football, your daily life. Your faith. Everything. You talk in the same way when no matter what you're talking about, and I think that's kind of the cool thing. That's your outlook and everything going forward. And I know you're going to be successful regardless of what happens. But I wish you the best of luck with the career and everything going there. And you get an opportunity, man, because you got the hard hat on right now and you're going to work. And it's cool to know you and cool to establish this relationship, especially after this night. And just keep going, man.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm looking forward to just building this relationship up with you guys as
For
well.
sure.
And like I said, just thank you for allowing me to be on here because it's a big blessing to just being able to tell my story, tell my testimony. Because I don't know, there's probably somebody that's like looking forward to it, and I just feel it could go a long way for somebody. So just thank you for allowing me to share this.
Yes, sir. No, we appreciate you and we thank you, man, because you took the time out of your night to hop on here with us, chop it up, establish a new connection. And like you said, if one person catches wind of this
That's
video
all.
and it can change their life, that's the impact we want to have. We don't care about the views, we don't care about the likes, and all that's nice. But when it comes down to it, and we impact one person in a positive way, and it helps them work towards their dreams. That's what we want. But man, thank you. I know you're going to keep working for your next opportunity. Stay grinding, stay in the weight room, stay blessed, stay healthy. And I know you got it in you. We appreciate you sharing this story with us. We hope you guys enjoyed this one and keep tapping in.
Thank you.